What's up, everybody? It's your friendly neighborhood FUD fighter, Michael T. Ragland, coming right at you from NFTyou. And today we're going to talk about the weekly NFT drops, and we're going to show you how we find NFT projects that can 10x your portfolio. I keep saying we because I have my main man, Dan, with me right now. What's up, Dan?
Hey, I don't have a fancy intro. I'm no FUD fighter. Well, I am in reality, but yeah, there's no names behind me at the moment.
We'll hook you up, man. I'll get you one. Before the end of the show, I'm going to try to come up with one. And in the comments, if you can think of something for Dan, don't be mean, but we got to come up with a cool intro so I'm not just throwing over to like, hi, it's Dan. It's Dan.
Digital Dan.
Cool. We're gonna jump right into it. All right, now we're going to talk about how you can 10x your project. We're actually going to show you how we look at projects and the things we actually need to see to know this can be a project that can 10x. Keep in mind, this is not financial advice. Do your own research, please. But we're going to show you how we do our research. We're going to look at a couple of projects, starting with Unknown Voyagers. Or is it Voyagers Unknown?
Mate, it is Voyagers Unknown.
I always mess
you keep on saying that. You keep on saying that.
Mess it up. Starting with Voyagers Unknown, we're going to let Dan kind of take us through that and show us how he vets a project so we know things that can 10x, and then we'll move on over to our weekly drops.
And mate, this is looking clean. I suppose they've kind of gone with the same patterns like Clone X and Hape Beasts with a 3D imagery. And that's kind of like a little bit of a buzz at the moment for NFTs. So we're seeing that, and I think we'll continue to see that trend grow as well. But the thing is, you look at the detail that these guys have gone into, you look at the quality on the shirts. I mean, there's one picture where they're wearing a fluffy jacket and it looks like you can put your hand through that fluffy jacket. It is pretty amazing. Now, their tagline is imagine a world without boundaries. They're trying to create this world where anything and everything is possible. Now, they do have kind of classes in this world. So there's 3 different types of people. You've got the unknown, the lower class. So they're the people that are working hard. They're the people that kind of build the society up. Then you have the Voyagers. They're kind of the middle people. They're the most people that are in the NFT world, or the multiverse is what they're saying. And then we have the execs. So they're the ones that are the high level. They're protected by the police. They're in their own little section. So if you're an exec, you are that upper class.
So you reckon that's like the classes are kind of like the floor to like the top NFTs? You think that's how they're going to do when they actually drop them?
Yeah, I think there'll be like, and the thing is with any sort of NFT drop, the public decides what's most important. And it's interesting when we look at some projects like Red Laser Eyes. There might be 10% of them, but all of a sudden it's like everyone loves Red Laser Eyes, so they're going to be more popular than
That's true. Is there anything that's jumping out to this like that makes you feel like it can be a 10x project, or at least a legit project that's not a rug? What are you seeing in this one?
Yeah, I think the big thing that I look for, and this is, we'll probably record another video or another podcast another time, but I look at the amount of effort that's gone into the project. So what's the effort that the person's put into it? Because we're seeing a lot of derivatives come out, and there's some really, really horrible rugs this week. I'm not sure if we want to quickly jump to...
Dude, I know. I don't want to get caught up in them, but I know that there's some crazy rugs happening right now. Like I remember the other day you showed me one where this guy just trolled everybody. Like, can you share that one with us and show us?
Yeah, I've got the picture here.
Yeah.
So this is Doodle Dragons. A lot of people are a bit hurt by this, which makes sense. So they've come out and said, after some backlash and more research, we've decided we're going to instead make our first donation of $30,000 to WWF. And then 2 minutes later, they've said our charity instead would now be My Bank Seer Nerds.
Man, dude, I came like razor thin to like getting both of us rugged on a couple of projects. And all those projects were derivatives, dude. Like these guys are just straight blatant with it right now. And we just have to be super careful. Like I feel like I'm somebody, and Dan, you the same way, that feels pretty comfortable and share in the NFT space and doing things. But literally this past week, I was like razor thin to being rugged. Like if I wasn't out at the park with my kids, I would have got rugged. Like on the Bored Bunny drop, I would have got rugged if it wasn't at 3 a.m. at our time.
Is Bored Bunny a rug?
I don't know. Like, okay, so their Discord is still up. Like Twitter's still going. People are still buying them, and I don't even know what they're going for now, but they're going for close to 1 ETH the last time I checked. So I don't know. I mean, it signs in there, right? Like I'm seeing that with the chat and everything, they're not letting people talk. Well, what's going on with that? Like, what do you?
Well, I was just going to look through, and I'm seeing if I'm in the Bored Bunny Discord. I've probably got rid of it because I didn't have access to any channels. They've literally in the general chat gone, if you're not a holder, you can't access any chats besides the holder chat. But if it is a rug, it's an extremely smart move, because who do you want in your project that's going to increase the value? People that hold your project.
Yeah, I'm just curious about what they do when new people come in and then they like are holders and they join, but maybe they don't even let you verify. Like, let us know in the comments below if you jumped in the board bunny after they like kicked out everybody in the gen chat, if they actually let you verify as a holder to jump in and chat. I got a feeling they won't let new people in the chat. We'll find out. We're not gonna spend too much time on it.
Yeah.
But can you kick back over to Voyagers Unknown and show us like some of the key things and let us know that it's hopefully not a rug. We don't know, but yeah.
Yep. I think we talked about the quality of the art, so it's not a derivative, it's an original. The other thing that we look for is a docs team, and I think with a lot of the rugs that we're seeing, there's an accountability piece, and I think this is the interesting thing, that what's going to find a balance in the Web3 world is kind of like, are people doxed? Are people not doxed? How do we trust them? There's got to be another way to verify trust at some point in time. What that is, I don't know just yet. But this team here does have some links to their Twitter accounts, their Instagram accounts. So we'll open up a couple of them now. And I think that's really great to see that there is some link to something with these projects. But there's two sides to this as well. So this is kind of a partial docs because it doesn't have a full team. Yeah, it's kind of like some cool little artwork, man. It's interesting. 94,000 followers.
That would probably be 3D artists at Voyagers Unknown inquiries, and they have like a legit website there as well. Cool. So that makes me feel a little bit more comfortable.
Yep. And like you can kind of see some history, so it goes back a little bit further. And this artwork is clean.
Malone weekend.
Yeah,
that's
cool.
Dope.
But the one thing that I noticed is that straight away off the bat, they actually have females in their Voyagers as well, which a lot of projects are just going with the male derivatives and not the derivatives, the male versions.
I think it's dope because what they could have done, they could have dropped like Voyagers Unknown, it would have been all males, and then they could have dropped the female version. But I like that they put both in to be more inclusive and to give you more of a chance to have a variety. And I was looking at the hair on that actual model, and it's crazy where I can see individual strands, and this is a trend that I'm seeing, guys. So one thing that I'm looking at, like, you just can't really come out with a project that's just like normal basic like artwork now. The things that I really see that are running and gaining momentum are things like your Hape Beasts and your Unknown Voyagers and the Prime Ape Planet that have crazy artwork with a legit team behind it. So that's one key thing that I'm kind of seeing. And now that we went over and seen that the team at least has some social media links that we can kind of link back to see previous artwork that's not Voyagers Unknown. Is there anything else that you look at on a project?
Yeah, and this is what I was talking about before with that, like, you can pretty much feel that fluffy coat there. That's dope. The other thing that people will tend to ask, and you'll hear a lot of people go, oh, is there a roadmap? Is there a white paper? And they're two really great things that I tend to look at. So we want to compare the white paper to what it says on their Discord and kind of what people are knowing. So make sure there's a balance between what is being said by the team actively and what is being said by the team previously, and are those things getting updated? There is a point there to be made, like on this one here, and I love that they've got little dev blog. It's only got 3 posts, so it's nothing crazy. But in one of the posts, it talks about the mint being of 0.3, and then on their Discord, it doesn't actually have all the details there.
Right,
So,
and I bet you it's probably because they probably get a lot of kickback in like the Discord on being like a 0.3 mint is pretty high. I think a lot of times developers try to look at, it's through your artwork, so we're gonna like have a high mint price. So I got a feeling they're probably gonna drop that down.
For sure. And the other thing that they've got in here is they talk about their minting mechanics. So this is great stuff for transparency. And like, this is tough because this is all things that they're just saying at the moment. So this could go either way. This might not be how they pan out at the end of the day. But the interesting thing is there is no real roadmap. And I don't mind that. I know, like, Michael, you're all about utility. Yeah. Whereas I kind of appreciate, I think I see so many projects these days that overpromise under-deliver. To have a project that kind of goes, we don't want to set unrealistic expectations. And so the reason why I'm investing is because I actually appreciate the artwork.
But for me, it's just like, is that because they were too lazy and they couldn't come up with utility? Like, I see it from both sides. I mean, there's so much stuff they could have done with this. Like, I look at like how fashionable the 3D characters are. Like, they could have had some kind of like fashion element into it where you can get the merch, or at least get some kind of merch in the future at the minimum in there, because it kind of makes me scared, because it's like, I don't have to deliver on anything. I'm kind of leaning on like having dope artwork. There's nothing in there about about like utility of future anything?
They talk about having like future collaborations and the like fashion shows where you can sit there and then you can purchase what they're wearing and put onto your character.
Okay, see, that's something that kind of gets me. Okay, now we can do something. And what are these ID cards all about?
Yeah, so that basically represents your access to various events, various locations. You carry it with it. So, and I don't understand whether that's going to be a file attached to your NFT or whether it's going to be a link attached to the NFT. That's something that I haven't looked into.
Was it like an airdrop, where it's like once you have the NFT, they're going to airdrop you its ID card or something? That's interesting. Partner locations, and is that in the metaverse or real world? Like, I mean, I don't think they're telling us. I'm just kind of.
No, I think in the metaverse, multiverse. Yeah. The other thing that is like interesting with IDs, the unknown Voyagers, they don't actually have an ID. They're like the lower class. No one knows their name, that sort of stuff as well. So it's pretty interesting. If I jump back into this screen, we talked about the 3 posts, and this is a relatively new one as well. It talks about their utility, and it talks about the ID cards, the purpose of the ID cards, the virtual events, like we'll talk about the fashion show, the dressing room, airdrops, the future.
So see, they do have something. They're not talking about, they're not promising too much, but at least they're giving us like some of the things in there. Like I'm kind of reading it now, and it's just showing that providing more information, focus on the start of the Voyager. So I guess, okay, it's just showing that they're doing everything like in a controlled fashion and trying to focus on one thing at a time instead of promising everything. And then us being in the Discord like, yo, I didn't get my hoodie.
Yeah. And I think that's the way that I would like to see more of, is kind of projects going, hey, we've got X amount of royalties. Now it's enabled us to do this. Because I think a lot of projects, they're getting all this royalties and money in, and they're not actually giving that back. And I think a lot of people think that the money is theirs at the end of the day, but they're not treating it as in this is kind of and I think we need to treat more as like it's a DAO, and your community is your community. You got to keep that going on.
It's a good point. I mean, I think if anybody out there is watching who's looking to create an NFT, like you can't just create something anymore and take the money and not tell people what you're going to do with it. I think people are looking at projects now from the side of an investor or shareholder, because they want to know like what's going to happen with the money. They can do the quick math. If this is a 0.2 drop times however many there's 5,000 something that are coming out, they can put that math together and say, hey, you're going to make this much money. What are you actually going to do with it? Like, what is your call? People want to know that now, right?
Yeah. So I suppose like we'll recap by saying the final question: would you invest?
Yeah, I would. Just because the artwork is crazy dope. Like the one in the middle kind of looks like Travis Scott a little bit. Like it'll get me in it, and I can see like if it would have just been that one person on there with the like 1,000 followers, I'd have been a bit sketchy. But when I see like the main 3 artists that has a lot of work that's not Voyagers Unknown, it makes me feel a little bit more comfortable. But I would have liked to seen like some real humans, and I hadn't dug deep enough to see if they're on Twitter and talking to people and interacting with the community. I would have hoped so. I haven't seen that they're doing giveaways and stuff on Twitter, so they are at least active that much.
I feel like the other dilemma, and this is a little bit of a side note, and I'll reflect on what you said then as well, but the problem with artwork like this is that how do you put this into the metaverse with no arms, no legs?
Like it's crazy, right? Because that's another thing that people always promise. They're just like, oh, on our roadmap, we're gonna go in and we're gonna actually put things, in the metaverse, in 3D land, and with all that. But I think to myself, I'm like, well, with the bandwidth, it's no way that's actually gonna work. Look at Decentraland now. It's laggy as, maybe in America you guys are better, but here in Australia, it's crazy laggy. So something this detailed, I don't know how they're gonna be able to put that into the metaverse. I'm excited to see though.
Yeah. So we'll wait and see what happens. But you hit the nail on the head, and I think that the key for me is that I need to appreciate the artwork. And then if the utility is amazing, then I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. So I'm kind of like, I'm in on this project. It's going to be a small investment. It's not going to be one of those ones that I go too heavy on. And I think our advice to anyone is, if you're investing, you go in slow and low, please. And then ramp yourself up if you still believe in it.
And we'll definitely do more videos on how to like get a good entry point, but I don't think there's anything wrong with like going in, if you do buy it on secondary, going at the floor, but something like this on secondary is probably gonna double from the mint price like that as soon as it goes there, and they're gonna fly off the shelves. So don't get too crazy, especially because these are gonna be revealed straight away. Just go in at the floor, take it nice and easy. Don't overpay for anything. And there's always a dip on reveal anyway, no matter how dope it is. So it may be worth working out, but this isn't a strategy video on trading. Those are to come later. I always get excited with these things, but I want to ask you a question though. Can you take me through, let's imagine that I was a brand new investor in the NFTs, because I know a lot of new people are coming on board. And what's the process you go through to even find projects that are coming out, and what to look for, even to get to the point to find out if the team is doxed or undoxed? Can you kind of show me that?
Yep. I think the first thing, and I've already got it on the page there for us, is I head to a website that shows you the up and coming launches. So rarity.tools has a little up and coming section here, and you can see all the drops that are happening. So this is great because you can actually see what time they're being released. So 4:30 p.m. There might be some, we scroll down, what do we got? Bloody Chill with Jesus. Okay. Well, let's look into Chill with Jesus. I suppose what we want to do is we actually want to, and I would skip straight past this because I don't like the artwork. That's plain and simple. So sense. First of all, the artwork has to catch my eye. I go, okay, that's great. They've put a lot of time and effort into that. I'm not saying these people haven't, but that's kind of what I would look at.
Yep.
The next I kind of look at is the Discord on the website. So I'll start with the website. What's the quality of the website looking like? Have they put a lot of...
They're making me feel bad for not investing. And I think that's why they chose. You don't want to chill with
Do you reckon Jesus wants graffiti font? Like, that's what he wanted. It's the bloody stone and chisel. But straight away, like I can see this is a Web3 enabled website because they got the mint direct from there. It looks like a pretty generic style minting website. And you'll see that, and this is the thing that we'll try and cover a little bit more, is like, what is your typical copy paste website and what is your, developer made website that's custom built. So 4,444.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't be doing it, bro.
I think he had a blunt a second ago. Seriously. So the first thing we look in is kind of the quality of the website. And already I'm probably not in based on something like this, but it does have great links to kind of the project, the traits, the roadmap, so it has all the things that I would like to see. So if the artwork,
at least,
well, let's have a look at Twitter. 3,000 followers for Jesus.
Hey,
that's actually pretty good. Is there a number that you kind of look at for followers?
I mean, a couple key things I look at. I can see that it's followed by a couple people that you're following. I would look at that same thing. Like, who are these people that are following? Like right now, I see like crypto promoter. I'm like, well, they're probably following everybody. And I think for me, it's funny, right? Because I don't really mind. I think for me, 1,000 kind of seems like that barrier where I'm like, okay, over 1,000, it's engaged. We can kind of see what's going on with the project. I feel a little bit more comfortable. But the main thing for me is that people that I know and trust are following it. And like, there's actually some engagement in the comments. It's not just like, great project, bro, over and over again. Yeah. It wasn't a blunt. It was a party, blower thing, by the way. So thank Jesus. All right.
Yeah, I know. Right. I was worried for a second there. But they have already, public sale is now live. So I think we talked about this project here. So if the artwork was a tick, the Twitter was a tick for now. I think the engagement probably wasn't too high on Twitter, so I wouldn't be. That's not really. I'm kind of on the fence with their Twitter at the moment, whether I actually think that's a plus or a minus. But we'll quickly look and see what it says for the team. All right, so not really a docs team. There's no links to any social media. Their own social media links are down the bottom.
And that's the thing, man. And see, you gotta see the difference between this project and something like Voyagers Unknown. Like, why even bother putting the stuff down there at the bottom if you're not gonna at least link out to something? Like, when I say docs team, you don't have to have your face on the camera like us. You can just have some links to social media that shows you're a real person, and maybe some things you worked on in the past to make people have a little bit more confidence, right? Like this, I'm just not feeling it because of the artwork, because of just a generic team at the bottom, knowing that it's a copy and paste probably from Hashlips or somebody. Shout out to Hashlips with that code that everybody's been using for drops. So I mean, if I was going through this, it would have took me long. I would already be ready to move on to the next one.
Yep. I totally agree. I would have stopped at the website. I wouldn't have even gone to the Discord. And I think that's the next step that we look at. We go to the Discord and we kind of judge what's the quality of content in there? What's the team like? Is it engaging? Are they trying to build this community? Are people welcoming? That's kind of my next thing that I look at. But I think the big thing is making sure that the Discord represents what their project stands for, and it also reflects what's on the website as well.
Yep, legit.
Anything else you'd be looking for?
That That's the main thing, like Twitter, the Discord, that is not any fake followers and those things in there, and the mint price. Like the mint price for that one doesn't look bad, but it's just that the artwork of the team's not docked, so I would definitely roll on from there. Like right underneath it though, one's catching my eye. So I'm seeing Moody Ape Club. So from the start, it ticks boxes, right? So earlier in the video, I said that things that are like 3D artwork already get people's eyes because we're getting kind of tired of like the little lazy avatar type of stuff. So that's one I'll be kind of looking out for, and then I would kind of dig in and see what the mint price is and what's going on. I can see this one is already live there, and I can see that 0.18 ETH is what's happening there, and I'd go through and look at their Twitter and those things. So we may quickly do that and see if this one is kind of worth it. Yeah.
Now, this is one that was actually in the Discord, and I believe there's over 100,000 people actually in their Discord already, which is insane. So I think you would expect projects like that, and we've run some numbers before, and it's approximately 15 to 20% of your followers in Discord and Twitter combined will actually purchase one of your NFTs. So this should be a sellout based off those numbers.
Is this one actually it's live? Is it sold out? It says mint website down Linktree. Can we check that?
Let's have a look.
Yeah.
We'll go to OpenSea and see what the total amount is.
That's another great point though. Like that Dan's getting to, like, if I know something's live, I want to see what the total amount is if it's sold out. We can see that it's 3,000 out there. I don't remember how many is supposed to be out there. That I feel like double that, yeah. Let's
go back. And the great thing about Rarity Tools is it shows the total supply there. So 7,000. But yeah, what are we looking at? So we're sold out. Nah, and a really great little tip that we'll show here is that if you click on the actual total amount, it will show you how many have been minted here. So a lot of people don't know that. And the other little trick while we're on camera is a lot of people are like, oh, how many until it gets to 0.1 ETH? You just simply put a filter down here. And it's only 2 items, sorry.
And now you can see, because I think it feels like the mint price on this one may have been 0.18, maybe.
Well, that's another thing that we look at back in Rarity Tools. 0.18 is the public sale. Private sale was 0.12. Yeah. So the thing is, let's be careful with this sort of stuff, because the private sales having it that, it's quite a large percentage, 0.06 below, there is a high chance it'll go back down to 0.12, if not below that upon reveal.
No, legit. Or even before that, because the people that jumped in and they're able to do it on the private sale, like at a minimum, people want to like double up. Some people don't mind making like a couple bucks, so they may do it at 0.14. So a key thing here, the reason why I wouldn't pick this up off secondary is because it hasn't sold out yet. Like open sale is live, it's been open for a little bit. We don't know what's going on with it. So I would go in and I'd be like, all right, not really sure about this. It doesn't make any sense to buy it now when I can still mint one, but it doesn't really make sense to, if I believe in a project, I may mint one, but at this point with this project, it has enough of the stuff here for me to go for it, but I would be curious on why they didn't sell out straight away. I would probably go into Discord and I'd try to figure out why it didn't sell out before I actually try to even mint one and waste the gas everyone.
Yeah, totally agree. And that's the other thing that people are taking into consideration is it $60 or is it $200 to $300 during mint? So that's tough, man. It's tough for people that are releasing projects at the moment to balance that.
Yeah. Even with gas prices, it's been crazy. So I haven't even looked at gas yet today, but it may not have sold out just because gas may be crazy. That's something that we may have to look into. So if I vetted that and I'm like, you know what, gas is kind of crazy, so maybe that's why I might wait and mint it later, but I would keep an eye on that value, make sure sales and stuff are coming through. Let's see what else we got going on this week.
What do you think about this whole like Mechaverse style?
Dude, well, I'll tell you first thing, when I see BUSD, I'm like, no, because a lot of scams are on Binance and Polygon. Sorry, but I wouldn't go for it because I'm like, I just want to see things that are on Ethereum right now. If something has to jump up and get my attention from another chain, it has to do a lot. I probably won't even bother. I don't even want to switch my wallet over to anything else right now. Like, the funds on Ethereum.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about doodles after that rug.
Yeah, nah.
It's interesting, this kind of like cute, fluffy style. That's what everyone's going for at the moment. Bulls, that's another one.
Okay, so that's something that would stop me right there. And that would actually, so that one would have came out today already in our time zone. Interesting. I would be curious on what their Twitter looks like how that's rolling, how's the sales going. It's at 0.22. Let's have a look at that.
Let's jump on. First of all, I'm going to start with the website. Sold out, great. That's what we want to see. And the website actually looks quite nice. It's clean. It's got some 3D animation. The actual imagery looks quite nice. What are we looking at? ERC 721. It's great. max
1155
supply,
by Adidas. So
which broke OpenSea, whatever. They've got this like unboxing that's kind of cool. So it's a bit gimmicky, like which I think is great. Like I think you need to have that thing that appeals, but it's not, once again, over-promising. So it's very simple.
Yo, I don't know. They launch into the metaverse.
Oh yeah, I just saw that. Yeah. So, and this is the thing that will take us a little bit longer to actually strip down what they're trying to say. Are they trying to say there'll be a lower res version, or are they trying to say there'll be a full blown walking around bull that can, you can ride skateboards on, whatever. But launch into the metaverse is before Unbox. That's interesting.
Yeah, that doesn't make any. What is it? Let's just read what that says. I don't know. What are they saying, that it's gonna be in the metaverse, or is that they're just using it as a buzzword?
It's got nothing to do with the metaverse.
Yeah, so it's just a buzzword. They're just using the buzzword in there, and it's just like, see, that's the things that make me worry, because I'm just like, you have to trust founders. We haven't even looked at it yet, but like, I'm looking at key little things. I want to know. Remember, I'm an investor or shareholder in the project, so I want to know that the founders like have their stuff together and they know about the space. So I wouldn't really ding them on this if the market is still loving the project, but it makes me think, because I got into a project earlier that the founders broke it by actually going from free to paid, then back and forth again, and slow down all the momentum. It cost me like a lot of money. So I'm very cautious on when I see things like this, where I'm like, you say launch to the metaverse, but you're talking about having 3D boxes. That's not the metaverse. Yeah.
And I think this is what I think we're going to see projects do, is they're going to be like, you're in the metaverse, but it'll be like you're in this box that you move around on a trolley or something like that. Like it's going to be I don't think it's going to be full-blown metaverse where you can walk around. Holders, rewards, community should always be first. I'm not sure why that's at the bottom of the roadmap, so that's another red flag for me personally. I think it's dope because one thing that I like about this project is that the artwork started back in 2020. So it's been, we're 2022. We're 2022 now.
Yeah. Already 2022.
No details about the artist, nothing like that. I'm starting to turn away from this project, man.
Here's the thing. I got a feeling that the market is loving it because it has the 3D artwork. It's sold out super quick. So I bet you if we go and we look, their Twitter is insane, right? They got stuff happening there. In a second, we can go to OpenSea and see what they're not following anybody though. Like bold.
Well, and do you reckon that was the whole number an hour ago? They were top 5 in OpenSea. Do you think that's the whole? They followed a whole bunch of people and then they unfollowed them.
Probably. Yeah. Or they work with a dope team to get their followers up that quick. Some other influencer has, if we dug deep enough, I'm sure we can find that. And that's something else I look at, guys. We won't do it in the video because it'll take us a while, but I would try to find out what influencers are talking about. And keep in mind though, I wouldn't actually just base my decision on influencers tweeting about it. Like I seen in my tweet deck the other day, I don't know if you guys use tweet deck or not, but it just shows, I have a bunch of different lists in a horizontal fashion. And I've seen projects coming out and the same influencers from Opensea and Mutant Apes were tweeting about them using the same copy in the same exact pictures saying, hey, you should invest in this project. So you can pay anybody to talk about your project. So I'm not just gonna take their word for it.
Yeah, 100%. So they are on OpenSea. They have fully minted now 8,789. I wonder whether OpenSea's lagging to show all the total ones. Already 786 ETH volume, which is great. When I'm kind of looking at a project, my volume that I like to see is 50. Like it's actually quite low because I'm quite risk adverse. But
what's activity doing too?
Let's have a look. I suppose they haven't actually. This is the first day up there, so 0.31. And I'm just going to jump back to the screen because this is where I see it. 0.22. Okay. Once again, everyone needs to be careful, and I think a lot of people that know about NFTs talk about this is that when they reveal, people are going to go, oh, I got a crap one, I'm getting out.
Legit. So it's interesting, right? Because we're showing you this video on weekly drops and how we pick projects at 10x, and we do it by being super careful, right? So it's all about that entry price that you come in with. So we know this one was 0.22. The floor is 0.3. It's not too much of a jump, but here's the thing, like it's not revealed yet. And it's obviously not that crazy demand because that floor should be at least double by now if the demand was crazy. So I know that the dip's gonna be a lot harder on reveal whenever that happens. So something like this, as keen as I may be to get in, after looking at like the project and the Twitter and the OpenSea, and I would go into the Discord and see what's going on there, I probably wouldn't go in right now. I would wait to the reveal and try to catch that dip on some of the good ones, or see if somebody fat fingers where I can snipe. What would be your strategy on this one?
Well, I was just you mentioned Discord, and I've just loaded up. I'm not going to join the Discord, but you can see how many online followers and how many members they have in total on Discord. Not followers, sorry. But guess how many people members they've got.
Okay, it's 36,000 there. They're gonna have, depends on how long. I'm gonna guess 20,000.
Times that by 10. 235.
The limit's 250. Yeah.
They're almost at the limit. But the thing that I noticed here is that there's only 13,000 online.
Okay.
Why is 5% of your followers online? That's
when you have that.
Is it less than 5? Yeah, well, 20,000 would be 10. Yeah.
Even with time zones, like I always keep time zones in mind, being that we're both in Australia, like it's always a weird time zone, but right now it's early in the morning for us, meaning that it's a decent time in the States as well. So right now would be the key time that everybody across a lot of the time zones, at least the States and like the Pacific, would be online if that was legit. So I don't know what people are doing to get this Discord followers up. Let us know in the comments if you do know how they're hitting that limit and making it seem like they have a lot of followers and engagement in there. But I look at these little things, right? Like if you want to find something that's 10x, you got to go this deep. I evaluate it, like I come from a stock background, so I go that deep in looking at projects. So something like this, it may be a 10x if I can snag one on reveal, but it wouldn't be straight away, right?
Yep. And I think like if they had a docs team and there wasn't the roadmap that's a little bit up and down for me, I probably would actually go in on this. I think the artwork looks cool. I think the fact that they've got so many followers means there's more likely to have more people pick into it. But the not docs team, the roadmap's a little bit back and forth.
I agree. Guys, look, I'm gonna wrap it here. We could go on all day with this stuff. Like we love looking at projects. It's pretty much what we do all day long. Like it's my full-time job. I look at projects, I invest, I try to see, is there any opportunities there? This is video number 1 from us. So this is giving you guys a good taste of the kind of value we can deliver to the community and how we vet projects, right? So just in summary, we've showed you how we can find projects that have a legit opportunity to be a 10x on your portfolio, and then we went through and looked at some potential weekly drops. Like as of right now, and I'll see what Dan thinks about this, but I feel like the market isn't looking too crazy for this week as we stand. So like it's okay not to get in there. If you don't see anything that catches your eye, you don't have to always invest. You can look at other projects that have volume and try to maybe snipe them. What are your thoughts on that? Final thoughts.
Yeah, I think like it takes quite a while to actually sift through all the projects. There are so many people that are releasing projects these days. So we're going to miss something that's going to be a high value ticket. You know, if you think we have, just let us know, put it in the comments, and we'll do a bit of research, and we'd love to give you some feedback about what we think about the project. So yeah, I don't think there's too much going on. I think that last week we had this really massive bull run with NFTs, and I think it's actually dropped down a little bit this week. Yeah,
I just thought of something. Hape Beasts is next week. So there's probably gonna be some content on that. Like we may do like a reveal. If they actually drop, we may go through and we may record ourselves on that drop and just watching and seeing what the volume is in. I seen Dan's eyes being like, don't do it, but I got a feeling maybe 3 a.m. and I got a couple kids. So we may wake up a little bit early to see how Hape Beasts is done, to do a recap on that, to see if that's worth investing. I'm pretty sure that's the 12th of Jan, if I'm not mistaken, with Hape Beasts there, guys. But that's it for us today, guys. Thanks for hanging out. And remember, we literally wrote the book on NFTs. So if you want to find out a little bit more around NFTs and learn how to launch your own project, check out the link in the description below to our NFT launch handbook, From Idea to Launch. That's available on Amazon right now. The audiobook narrated by yours truly is coming soon. And without further ado, this is your friendly neighborhood FUD fighter, Michael T. Ragland, signing off, and your boy, Dan.
Just Dan, yeah. I need a new name. Come on. Help me out.
Comments, like, give us something like for Dan. I can't just be like, it's your friendly neighborhood FUD fighter, Michael T. Ragland, and Dan.
It's just Dan.
All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll catch you in the next video. Peace.
See ya. Bye.